Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And she's actually sitting in on a video game news video. That doesn't
Not just that, I found it.
She did. She's talking about RAM prices. We're going to talk about RAM prices and how there's a rumor now that Xbox is going to raise the price of its consoles again. And the Xbox consoles are already not doing very hot. And they've already had like 2 price hikes this year.
Yeah.
Like,
so, I mean, hopefully this isn't true. But I can't think it's not given the price of RAM.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because that is kind of wild to see. Now, and I did talk about this before in a previous video. It doesn't really matter now, but we're actually closing our brick and mortar store, which was a store / esports gaming center / retro arcade. And we had it for about 4 years. And, we were kind of looking at the economy and like, yeah, I don't think it's going to come roaring back anytime soon. We're not signing another lease.
No, we have a chance to get out, so we're getting out.
Right. But I'm also kind of glad because I'm like, yeah, if I got to replace some gaming PCs, like the price is going to go through the freaking roof. Mm-hmm. But now I'm also like, I got stacks of RAM. So, yeah. We're good. We're good. This reminds me, though, of the beginning of the pandemic when the graphics cards were going through the roof. Too. It's, all stuff's going up.
I could go back 3 months ago and bought a whole bunch of RAM and then flipped it now, I would have done it. Not everything has to be stock,
That's true. So we're going to talk about the price of RAM. We're going to talk about the Xbox as a console. And this is, Xbox right now is not in a good place. They're not in a good place at all. But then they got kind of a little bit of a reprieve because Steam's like, oh, we're going to come out with our own console. And people are like, oh, it's going to be like a $500 or $600 box. No, they're like, yeah, no, it's going to be a lot more than that. It's going to cost as much as a gaming PC, probably. And it's like, well, what is the purpose of a console then? If it costs as much as a gaming PC anyway.
Other than having exclusive content for it, but anymore.
But there isn't any for Xbox.
I was going to say anymore, they don't have it.
No.
So what's the point?
Xbox in particular does not have any. All of the Microsoft stuff is going to all the platforms, even Halo. It's like, what are you doing? So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for exactly what I said. More Clownfish TV. There's more Clownfish TV out there you can check out. Thank you very much for the support. So before we talk about the Xbox situation, let's talk about the price of RAM and why it's going up. AI.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what it is. It's like there's demand for all these centers. The same places that we're going to have to start paying higher electric bills to pay for.
Yes.
Now you have to pay higher computer stuff and everything so that, for their demand. It's a lot of shit, and a lot of customers are getting gouged to pay for everybody else to use AI.
So this is coming from a website that sounds really legit. It's called noobfeed.com. The impact of AI demand. Okay, the strongest driver of the current situation is the demand for AI infrastructure. Companies such as OpenAI, Meta, and others require large quantities of server hardware. Recent reports indicate that roughly 900,000 wafers per month are used in AI projects, accounting for about 40% of the total DRAM output. So 40% RAM going to AI. Servers use extremely large amounts of memory, often hundreds of gigabytes or several terabytes. Margins in this segment are higher than consumer products, so manufacturers shift their production accordingly. Less RAM ends up in the consumer market, which pushes prices upward. Basically, they're paying more than consumers, right? So
obviously they have more money to pay more than consumers. So that's that they shift all their energy consumption costs to everybody else. But yeah.
So this is insane. I didn't realize it was this bad. So I did a search. I'm like, okay, I know the RAM's going up. What's going up 20, 30% or something? No, my God, no, I wish. This guy here, Theo T3 GG says, I knew the memory pricing thing was bad, but like WTF, about 64 gig of RAM 4 weeks ago for $240, and now it's $500.
So it's doubled.
So it's doubled. Somebody showed me theirs and it tripled. Pirate Nation says, thanks to AI, 64 DDR5 prices have risen from 150 to 500 in less than 2 months.
That's insane.
171% surge. That is absolutely.
Well, yeah, because it's holidays too. So I mean, but here's the thing, though. I mean, some things like the Switch 2, which are newer or whatever, they're probably making more and more to get it out to people. So I can see a price hike on that. But some other things have been warm on the shelves, or they aren't in super demand. So trying to say, oh, I have to charge more because we're building new ones and everything else, I kind of call bullshit on. I'm not saying necessarily this, but I'd call bullshit on because you're probably sitting on them.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because Microsoft, here's the bigger issue, and this is why a lot of people are speculating they're going to stop making consoles soon. Microsoft, the company, wants a 30% profit margin on all video game stuff, but the industry standard is like 17%. And consoles typically are priced low because they want the buy-in. They want you to buy the $600 console so you buy a bunch of games in years to come, and that's where they make their money, right? And this is going back to the Nintendo days. It's like, just price the console cheap enough that you can get one into every household, and then you will sell them games for years to come.
Yes.
And but Microsoft, the company, which is used to having all digital products, they want a 30% margin, and this is why they had so many layoffs in gaming and everything else. This could be another lame excuse for why they got to jack the price up again. And when in reality, it's actually, like you said, their consoles have been languishing on the shelves or in warehouses. They're already built,
That's what I'm wondering.
But God, look at this. Yeah, this guy, 2 days ago, what the fuck is going on with the RAM price? 2 days ago and yesterday, we were talking at work about how this 293 64 gig RAM jumped up to $906.
What?
Holy shit. Oh, it went to 676 and now it's 906.
Oh, look at this digital price tags, looks like.
Yeah. That is, I can't imagine paying that much for 64 gig.
This has nothing to do with like computer stuff. I think it's funny because talking about things changing in prices. So I saw a video, and I don't know if it's real or not, but it seemed like an awful lot of work to go to and to set up in a store of the fake thing. But there was a Target video. And the woman was looking at Christmas trees at Target. And I think the price on sale was listed as $52, but they're normally $70-some. And that was the big sale they were having. But she noticed all these boxes, there was this like white box on it. So she was like, and it was a sticker. So she pulled the sticker off, and it was the price from last year or whatever. It was $50.
I can't believe it.
My point is, unless they use the same boxes from previous years and didn't change the box, which is also possible, why would the price go up if it was old stock? The only thing I could think of is that they, made new stuff and just used the old box. Otherwise, if it's last year's stock, you can't argue it's tariffs.
Well,
something like that,
Yeah, they've been blaming tariffs for, and look, I do believe 100% because we manufacture stuff. I know that prices are going up, but they're blaming tariffs for digital products going up too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bitch, seriously? Seriously, you think people are that stupid? The reality is people are that stupid.
They are.
They really are. And they're, the tariffs and the Trump made the download go up. Just like that. Exactly like that. But yeah, digital price tags. There we go. You guys thought we were making shit up about Walmart and their digital price tags. This is the purpose of the digital price tags, so they can just
I'm assuming pricing. They're digital. They look like
they're digital. This looks like a Staples or something. But yeah, this is how they do it. Everything's gonna be digital and then surge pricing. Oh, hey, RAM's a commodity now, so let's just triple the freaking price on people. So now that brings us to Xbox, which is already hurting, and there are all kinds of photos out there. I've covered it. Stores aren't stocking Xbox because nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying the Xbox. They're buying the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 is actually doing pretty well. Switch is doing really, really well. That stuff's fine. Nobody wants an Xbox.
No.
Nobody wants it. So Eurogamer has it. Microsoft could be forced into raising the price of Xbox consoles again, given global RAM shortage. God, this is just like Nintendo. Chip shortage. Leaker claims. Okay. So let's see here. According to Moore's Law is dead, Microsoft has warned its partners that an ongoing RAM shortage and soaring costs could lead to higher prices for its customers, with AI data centers snapping up memory in huge numbers and leaving little left for consumer electronics. Microsoft didn't plan ahead at all, apparently, Moore's Law is dead said. If you still want an Xbox for some reason, at their current pricing, those prices could go up soon, or supply could just entirely dry up, because multiple sources of mine have apparently been warned by sales reps at Microsoft that this is going to affect the Xbox Series consoles very, very soon, sooner rather than later. So will this be the excuse they need to just pull the plug on the Xbox as a console? Just be like, yeah, it
Probably,
costs too much.
because it's going to be too expensive. Yeah. And we don't know how high this is going to go. As more and more AI stuff, data centers are grabbing this stuff. It could go even, this is what it's at now. It could go even higher.
Yeah. So this guy went on to say that from what I've heard, Sony planned ahead and they bought up gobs of RAM near the bottom of the pricing, and thus they should be fine for months. They have plenty of GDDR6. I'm sure they're saying GD a lot over at Microsoft. At least that's what I've been told. Prices could go up eventually. I could see that happening next year, but there's a reason Sony is cutting PlayStation 5 pricing for Black Friday. Yeah. Meanwhile, Xbox raising their prices. Like, what the hell? They aren't just doing it.
What they're going to do? They're going to get you. They want everybody to get consoles, like you said, so they can sell them all kinds of games.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do. If we can we can keep the price down.
And the PlayStation 5, I mean, look, it's finally come into its own. I know you got one as soon as it came out.
I did.
And we did an unboxing and everything. You can go find that video. And yeah, Geeky lucked out. She got us one.
I'm very good.
She's very good at it. Also got a Switch too, but it's both of them.
I'm very good.
Both of them are, I gotta be honest, buying consoles early. If we weren't covering this stuff, I probably wouldn't bother.
You usually don't buy the first one because you said if there's going to be problems, it's usually in the first version.
The first batch. And the bigger problem for me is there's nothing to play at launch. Usually the launch titles are usually lackluster. And that's kind of what's going on with the Switch too now. It's like, okay, we got Donkey Kong and Mario Kart and better versions of 4-year-old games.
Yeah, pretty much. For
that you have to pay extra for. Yeah, for an upcharge. Oh boy, I get to see more of Link's hair now, and more ripples on the water.
I also scored a Wii completely by accident just from walking into Toys R Us where they had one left. So I mean,
that is true. Yeah. So she went to we were not going to get a Wii because
no, I was returning a toy to Toys R Us.
Yeah, Squid King was very little.
Yeah,
so
we're watching people hopping out of moving vehicles. I'm like, what the flip's going on? People are like jumping out of cars. I'm like, what is happening? So I just waltzed to Toys R Us, and the one person standing there goes, "Hey, I got one Wii left. Do you want it?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take it." And so I got the last Wii.
Like,
yeah, just I'll take it. Sure.
Oh my god,
I still remember. Into it.
What was the one Black Friday where the one woman was hoarding all the was it the DSs?
Well, that didn't happen to us, but yeah, we heard about it. And it was in where we lived. She went in and ran.
We heard about it from the guy at Toys R Us.
Yeah, the manager told us.
It was Black Friday. Yeah.
She ran in and then threw all of them in her cart, like all the ones on the shelves that were on sale in her cart, and then was charging people like $20 to get one out of her cart.
To get them out of her cart, yeah.
Right. And so the one guy grabbed a couple out of her cart and ran to the front. And then he got in trouble because you're not allowed to take stuff out of people's carts. And the manager was completely flabbergasted that that's what happened. And that's why he was telling us about it. But that's the batshittery you see.
Because usually with Black Friday stuff, they limit like one or two.
Oh yeah, they do. So. But she didn't check out with it.
She actually buy it. It was in her cart though. But I'd be like, I
can't imagine now you get away with that. No. Like you're sitting there charging people to take it out of your cart. I don't know.
What would happen now?
Let you do that.
This was a simpler time. What would happen now is somebody would live stream that shit on TikTok and be like, look at this bitch with all the DSs in her cart.
What would happen now is the company would say, this is the Black Friday deal, but when you get there, you have to pay them $20 just to get it out of the case so you can buy it for the Black Friday.
Yeah, companies. Yeah, Walmart's like, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's exactly what they would do.
Wow, we need to have like a Black Friday pass. And you need
I went to a craft show today, a church craft show. It's been going on for years and years and years. And this year they started opening a half an hour early if you pay $5 extra to get in early.
Was it Disney?
I know. I was like, even the church is doing it.
Extra Jesus hours? I mean, what is it? What are we talking
extra about? Extra Jesus hours, yeah. I'm like, wow, that's insane.
So yeah, they said that the reason that the PS5s are dropping for Black Friday is they can afford to do it. They got all kinds of RAM. I'm like, you think Microsoft would see this? I honest to God think they're looking for a reason to just pull the plug on Microsoft's console because they were jacking up the Game Pass prices and it's people are complaining about it and they'll just be like, oh well, due to macroeconomic circumstances it doesn't make sense for us to make Xbox consoles anymore. But everything is an Xbox now, guys. Your TV, your PC, your calculator, your fridge. Buy a Samsung fridge and you can play Fortnite on your fridge.
And then it'll set that was it Samsung? Yeah, we'll show you ads.
We'll show you ads for more games that
for more games you can buy. You know,
loot boxes or whatever, right? I mean,
yeah, loot box. It was a loot crate. Loot crate isn't even around anymore.
Oh, remember Loot Crate? Yeah. So Loot Crate. Do you guys remember Loot Crate? It was like nerd shit in a box that sent to your house. They actually sent us free Loot Crates. I remember that. Back in the day, we had another channel before this one, and we did.
Oh, we've only just showed up recently.
We just showed up. Yeah, we actually were doing YouTube years before we did it here on Clownfish TV, but we had another channel, and we did like nerd toy shit and toy openings, and we didn't swear like we do now because we were innocent back then and doughy eyed, and we're like, oh boy, it's great, we get free stuff. Yeah, but they'd send us loot crates and stuff, and I don't think they're around anymore.
There's comments. What people say in the comments?
Probably this is bullshit, and I'm let's see. Unreal 849 says, Force, we actively contributed to the hyper expansion of the AI bubble. Yeah, Microsoft, yeah, they did. They absolutely did with Copilot and all
poopsie. Oh my gosh.
And now we have no choice but to punish y'all for oopsie poopsie.
I like oopsie poopsie. I'm on a shirt that says oopsie poopsie.
Oopsie poopsie. That's our dog, oopsie poopsie. Tommy F says, if Steam can launch the machine at a lower price than whatever Xbox's new price is, it might be the final nail in the coffin. No, that is not going to happen, unfortunately, because Linus Tech Tips went to Valve and they asked him, what he thought about Steam Machine. And he's like, well, you're going to keep it like $500 or $600, right? And they're like, what?
But someone says that farther down, they're like, Valve needs to launch a much lower price, but it's going to be
much lower. Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's there is at this point, if you're going to charge $900 for a console, what is the purpose of a console? It's just a cheap ass gaming PC, right? That you can't upgrade. Like that really is no point. You can go buy a $500 or $600 mini PC and turn it into a game station, or people will just go back to retro gaming. They'll be like, yeah, that RAM and that RAM, that was paid for 30 years ago. I'm good. It still works.
Well, prices of retro, I haven't checked lately, but I know for a while there, they were going up, retro consoles and stuff and games and things. I don't know which is the most expensive, but we bought N64 for the gaming center. They were up then, and I think they're probably up higher now.
Yeah, I remember that. I was shocked at how expensive the N64s were because you couldn't, there were so many of them.
They were garage sales everywhere just like 10 years ago.
And then everybody decided that they wanted the 90s to come back. So yeah, we're like, okay, let's go get a really nice N64. We'll set it up in the back corner. People, want to play retro games. We'll set that up for them. And it was like, holy shit, that's for a used N64. Like everybody, like you'd find, you would. You go garage sales, there'd be stacks of N64s.
Or like
piles of
stuff,
them. Yeah, like there are all kinds
of systems. Like you'd find, systems, PlayStation, you'd find Genesis, sometimes you'd find regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo. You find those at garage sales, and you didn't even know if they worked. But
yeah, Nintendo was harder, I think, because people were collecting those. But
you did still see them because my dad used to buy them up and fix them, like put new pins in them and stuff, and resell them. But that was years ago.
Yeah,
but
the N64.
You used to be able to find them.
The N64s that were really like most, say for a handful of games, like you'd find, like I said, the garage sales, they'd be piled on top of each other.
Well, what do you think was the harder to find systems at garage sales and stuff?
Like
Nintendo, but what else do you think would be would be probably worth more because they were harder to find. You didn't see them much at garage sales and things.
Well, I've never seen a Turbo Graphics at a yard sale because nobody had one.
Didn't they have one at the one antique store though? I think they did.
They did. Turbo Graphics is hard to come by because again, it just depends on the install base. Everybody had an N64, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody had Sega,
everybody had a PlayStation
Genesis.
1, PlayStation 2.
I think PlayStation 1's very common.
PlayStation 1's incredibly common, except that the PS one, the little like Pop-Tart looking one. I always like the second generation systems. Your dad, I remember he had at one of his yard sales, he had an Odyssey. He sold the Odyssey. And I was like, shit, dude, I wish I would have bought that off of him.
If you had told him, he would have given it to you.
Yeah, I know. But he needed the money. So we bought a Virtual Boy before at a thrift store.
Yep.
And that was back. Like we used to deal in games too. People, man, we have a long story.
No, we're grifters. We don't know. We just going around jumping from thing to thing. We don't actually have experience in this stuff. We've done a lot of things.
The best. Okay, we had two really good, and it was all within the same time frame. It was like early eBay, whatever. One was a video store. Remember those video stores went out of business, and they were selling all of their rental copies, but they had some really rare games, and they were complete because they they didn't put the boxes out, right? They just put like, here's a picture of the, ask for it, whatever, get the little ticket. So they had the boxes and the manuals in the back, and they put the games in the boxes and the manuals. I'm like, oh my God, the styrofoam and everything's in the Nintendo box.
Dad bought a bunch of those too, and he bought just books, and he was selling
just the books
for like hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
I told him some of the books are worth more than
that's why you told him. That's why he did. But my dad used to buy the systems, and he was an electrician and stuff, so he would go and replace pins or parts, and he knew how to do all that and had the stuff to do it.
Yeah, he had a whole. So you want to talk about having an assembly line going? Your dad had a pile of NES, and he would go through and he'd put new. He replaced a couple of parts with gold to make sure that they lasted longer. The connectors on the cartridge, because they would go bad, and I forget what the part was off the top of my head, but he literally would have like stacks of Nintendos,
because he could do it. He used to do instruments for airlines and stuff like that. He worked in instruments and things like that. So he was. Yeah, he hasn't done that in a long time. His hands don't work very well now because he's arthritis.
But he had all the tools to get the cartridges open and everything, and he used to clean them all down with alcohol and everything. That was he had a whole thing going on eBay there.
He was good at it.
So we had that, and then we had the other time was when, speaking of N64, when they were clearing out all the N64 games at Walmart when the GameCube came out. Our one local Walmart just basically put all the games that they had in their cases, they put them out for like $10 each. And they were all like, the late stage. So it was like Mario Party 3, like Majora's Mask. I mean, these were like games that, like, if you had them sealed, they go for a ton of money. And even back then we were selling them for $100, some of them, depending on what it was.
And we had multiple copies, and we kept some for ourselves.
We bought the whole freaking pile of those games, and we were like selling them on eBay. But then I remember a couple of years later, and we were really getting off the beaten path here, but I remember seeing this meme or whatever going around that this guy found a sealed copy of Mario Kart at a Toys R Us. It was like under a
I remember that. Yes. They moved it, and it was there.
I'm like, amateur. We had a pile, like a literal. We had stacks of Mario Kart, and they weren't the player's choice ones either. The reissues, the budget ones, they were the original Mario Karts. They were just sitting at that Walmart all those years. So we had like
we passed them for days before we actually went and bought them.
Yeah, nobody wanted them because back then people weren't really collecting games. So they're like, oh, this is the old system. I don't want that. I want the GameCube.
But that's why I was saying, like, you see them at garages. I was wondering which ones you think are the harder ones to find that people might be looking for now, because, when they're talking about retro consoles, which does play into this, because everybody's kind of going retro because of all this, these new things and the way the games are lately, and, the fact they can shut down your systems. And that's why I was wondering, like, you don't see them at garage sales much anymore, but I was like, what were the really hard to find ones even at garage sales? That's why I said it. Sorry, we took a tangent. Sorry.
I would say some of the variants of the Genesis 3, which is the little Majesco sales one. You don't see those very often.
I remember that one.
I had one. I had a Genesis.
You did. You had pretty much everything.
No, what happened was I sold my original, because I had the original. I had the Genesis at launch. Like that was like my first.
That's
time
what my brother had. I think
on games, because they hardly had anything for it for a while. But I had the Genesis, Sega CD, all that, and I sold it. And then I bought the Nomad, which I still regret selling the Nomad. I love that thing, but it was just a portable Genesis.
I literally buy him books on this stuff because he's like one of the few people that remember half of this stuff.
So I had the Nomad, which is cool. You could hook up the TV or whatever, but it wasn't quite the same. So then I bought the Sega, because I had a whole bunch of games for Genesis. So then I bought the Sega Genesis 3, which was Majesco sales. And there's a whole thing, and then they were re-releasing. Yeah, they were re-releasing Sega cartridges, but they were shitty, and they came in a cardboard box. But a lot of those cardboard boxed versions go for a lot of money, like Castlevania Bloodlines.
Weird ones and stuff usually are the ones that are at the end when people are switching systems, are what usually goes for the most. Same with
because nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying Sega games in 1998 or whatever, 99 or whatever it was. But you can still buy them at stores because they were just languishing on the shelves. And that's what happened with all these Nintendo games. Anyway.
Sorry. That was my fault. I asked a simple question.
Buy your
elaborate answer.
Xbox consoles now, because maybe someday your Xbox Series whatever will be worth a shit ton of money, because it'll be like, this is the last console that Microsoft ever made.
Well, no, but I have to wonder how much RAM are in the PlayStation 5s.
I'm not really sure,
because I'm saying if they're going to have a lower price for them, because they got the RAMs cheap, that means they can sell them cheap. But if the RAM and it's worth more,
16 gig.
I was gonna say if they were worth more, you could always, there you got RAM. But that's not that much. So never mind.
Well, no, but I mean, it's still for a console. It's
But
pretty
give
good.
it a few months, and it might be.
Yeah, it's basically a low-end gaming PC. I mean,
Yeah.
look, the PS5 is 5 years old. Can you believe that? But the weird thing about it
gosh, yes.
is it was like a late bloomer because nobody had one for the first couple of years. You couldn't find them, and now
Yeah,
all
you
of a
couldn't
sudden,
find them. No one
yeah.
could get them. Scalpers
Like-
kept grabbing them all.
yeah, and I don't think they really need to. I don't think they need to make a PS6 anytime soon because people are just kind of getting into the swing of the PS5. So this one might be another, like PS2 was. Damn, they were making games for PS2 for like 10 years.
But so we've had our PlayStation 5 that long because I got it like the day it launched. So.
Like, yeah, it was within the first, and we did an unboxing video.
Was that on this channel?
It's on this channel, yeah.
Probably,
We used to do
I guess it
unboxings
was.
on
Yeah, we were doing this channel then. Yeah, I forgot we did that. Anyway, sorry for like 15 minutes of nothing, but there you go.
I don't know. People like the old story. Man, I wish, in retrospect, now we've closed it down, I wish I would have taken people on tours of the gaming center. Like, we did this for 4 years. People didn't know about it. The reason we didn't broadcast it is because of all the crazy ass people that watch our channel. I didn't want them showing up and harassing our employees or our customers.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically why we didn't talk about it. But yeah, it's a bummer. Anyway, we didn't have an Xbox, so nobody asked for one. Nobody played Halo.
No, we didn't have
nobody cared. We had a PS5 though. Are we gonna wrap it up?
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.